Yo guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be fixing a Samsung Galaxy A04e. We'll be doing a replacement of the full screen assembly. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Alright guys, so here we have the phone. Now the issue with this phone is that the screen is being lifted off and also the ribbon or flex cable is torn. So if we try to turn on the phone, it will not display anything at all. Now to solve this issue, we could just replace the screen or we could repair the flex or ribbon cable. But for today, we're going to replace the entire full screen assembly. Alright guys, let's start opening up this phone. So first, let's remove the SIM card tray. So we'll use this tray removal tool and we'll remove the tray. And now we'll take it out. Let's put it down there. And now we can start opening up the back of the phone. So to open up the back of the phone, we're going to be using a triangle spudger tool. And we're going to run it along the edges and slowly work around it until the back comes off. So we're just gonna run it along the edges. See, the back is lifting off, and we're gonna go around the entire back until the back of the phone eventually comes off. So here we remove the back. Alright guys, now it's time to remove the screws. So to remove the screws, I'm going to be using a 1.2 millimeters Phillips screwdriver bit. So let's start removing these screws. Alright guys, now that we have removed the screws, we can now remove the bracket so we can get access to the components of the phone. So let's remove this camera bracket and this subboard bracket. And now we have access to the components of the phone. Here's what we'll do now guys. We'll basically just disconnect these flex cables, one for the screen and also for the battery, because we're going to remove these different components and transfer them into the new screen assembly. So let's start removing this screen ribbon cable. Right, so we removed it, and let's remove this part for the subboard. And now we can actually take this out. You can see we take off the screen just like that because it was already lifting. Yeah, and this is the torn screen. Look at that guys, look at that. Alright guys, now let's disconnect the battery from the motherboard. So I'm just gonna lift off this ribbon cable or flex cable for the battery. And now we can remove the subboard and the motherboard from the phone. So let's do that. So I'm just gonna lift up this subboard, subcharging board, right? And now we can lift up the motherboard. So I'm just gonna use this plastic pry tool to kind of ease up the motherboard. Alright, and there the motherboard comes off with the subcharging board. Alright, and now guys, the next step is to remove the battery. So let's do that. So to remove the battery, I'm gonna be using this plastic pry tool to ease up the battery and lift it up. You guys can also apply a little bit of isopropyl alcohol to the underneath the battery, so that it's easier to lift off. So I'm just gonna work around the edges of the battery, right? And you can see the battery comes out, right? Let's put it down right there. Right, so now the next step guys is to remove these two speakers and also this small little vibrator. Alright guys, let's start removing the bottom speaker. You can see it right here. So I'm just gonna use the pry tool and we're gonna press down on the speaker and we're gonna use the pry tool to kinda lift it up. And you should see it comes off just like this. So here it is, here's the speaker. right? And now let's remove the top one. So to remove the top one, the process is similar. We just press down on right here, and we use the pry tool to slightly ease it up a bit, and you can see it comes off just like this. And now let's remove this little rubber thing. Right, so here it is. Can lift it up. Right, hopefully you guys can see that. All right, and we can put this right on the bottom part of the speaker. Right, so we just removed the two speakers. Now the next step is to remove the vibrator. So let's do that now. So to remove the vibrator, we're going to be using a small tweezer. And we're just going to go right where we see this little connector. And we're just gonna go underneath right here. And we're just gonna hold it using the tweezer. And you'll see that we get the vibrator just like that. Alright, so we just remove the vibrator. Now the next step, guys, is to put each one of these components into the new screen assembly. So let's do that. Alright guys, so let's start unboxing the new screen assembly that I ordered. So here it is. It comes with the necessary tools to open up the phone and all of that. But we used our own tools. It comes with a glass film, and it also comes with the assembly and a screen protector. Let me show you guys so we can take this out. So this is the screen assembly, and here is the screen protector. Right. So let me just put this back in, and we're just gonna take out this screen assembly. So here it is. All right. Let's put it down right there. Alright, so let's get started with moving the parts into the new assembly. I will leave a link in the description for the package of the full screen assembly. Alright guys, so the first thing we will do is test out the new screen assembly. So let's start by putting in the battery right here. And now let's start putting in the motherboard and the sub-charging board. Right, so let's put it right here. Let's try to clip it in. Right. And now let's start connecting the ribbon cables. So let's connect the screen, ribbon cable, right, and now let's connect to the battery. And now let's connect this charging ribbon cable right here. And now let's try to power on the phone. So let's kind of hold these components down so that we can turn the phone on. So just hold down on this power button. And let's wait to see if the phone comes on. Alright, so the phone is coming on, guys, which means the new screen assembly is working. So there it is. Now we can start moving in the different components. So let's just disconnect the battery right now. So we'll disconnect this flex cable. And now Let's disconnect the screen ribbon cable for now. And the first thing we'll put in, we will disconnect this next ribbon cable right here. And now, let's take back out the motherboard. And now we will put this vibrator in. So it goes right here. So we'll put it right here. And now, let's put in the speaker, which goes right here. So it should align, you should ensure that it aligns with these with the connectors right here where my finger is. Because when you close it up, it will need to touch the connectors. So we turn it like this and we basically put the speaker in here. And now let's do this for the front speaker or the top speaker. Alright, so we'll simply just put it right there, just like that. And now we can move the motherboard again back right here. And the subcharging board back right here. And let's start connecting the ribbon cables. Let's first connect the display flex cable. So we'll just hold down the motherboard, connect it like that, clip it on. And now let's connect the battery. And now let's connect the subcharging board ribbon cable. So just clip it down right here. It needs to align properly. So we need to ensure that it's clipped down properly. Now we can push down the camera part right here. And let's try to test it again. Alright, so we'll hold down right here. And let's try to power on the phone again. Alright, so there it comes up. Oh, this front speaker fell off. Alright, so let's just put it back in. Yeah, we can just do it like this. Alright, let's ensure that we hold it so it doesn't fall out again. Alright, let's wait on the phone to power on. Alright guys, so there it is. We officially fixed the phone. So this was the old assembly and this is the new assembly. So now it's time to assemble everything back together. So first of all, let's start by turning off the phone. So we need to ensure that we turn off the phone first. Alright, let's hold down on the power button. Alright, hold on a second. Right, and now let's power the phone off. Wait, it's taken. Yeah, because we haven't connected everything as yet. That's why we have to, so we can power it off now. Just like that. Alright. And now let's start assembling everything back together. Alright guys, so the speaker fell out again, so I'm just gonna place it back in right here. So just put it back right there. Alright. And now let's start assembling everything back together. So first guys, let's disconnect the ribbon cables again, because we'll need to paste in the battery in the new assembly. So we'll simply just remove this tape right here. Right. So we'll take it off. Right. Peel it off just like that. And now we can paste in the battery. So we'll just put it right here. Wait a minute. You need to, let's disconnect this connector for a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. And now we can put in the battery and stick it down like this. Right. Right. So now it's sealed in properly. And what we can do now is reconnect this cable right here. Alright, so let's do that. Can clip it onto the motherboard. Right. And now I'm just gonna use this pry tool to let it go inside of this little groove right here. So I'm just gonna run it on the wire like this. And now we can test it out again just to ensure it powers on. So we'll connect back this flex cable for the battery. And then we'll connect the flex cable for the screen onto the motherboard. So let's ensure that it's clipped properly. Alright. And let's test it out another time to ensure everything is working fine. Alright. So let's try to power the phone on one more time. Alright, so they're powered on. Cool. Alright guys, so now we can start screwing back everything. Alright, the speaker fell out one more time again. So let's put it back in one more time again. Alright, so let's do it right there. Can just put it right there. And now guys, let's start screwing back everything together. Alright, so the phone is still powering on. So we'll simply put this back on the phone. Alright, let's ensure that the motherboard is clipped in properly. Alright, make sure everything is clipped in properly. And let's put this bracket for the motherboard on again. Alright, and we'll just clip it down like that. And now it's time to screw the phone back up, guys. So let's get our screwdriver. Let's test it to ensure that it's still the button is still working. Alright, let's test out the volume button as well. Make sure everything is working. Cool. Alright, so everything is working, guys. So now all we need to do is fully screw back everything together. Alright guys, so we just successfully screwed back up the motherboard bracket. So let's see if it still powers on. Alright, nicely. Alright, it's still powering on. Yeah, so everything is working as expected, guys. Now we just need to screw the charging sub board back on. So the bracket for it. So we'll just clip it on right here. Kind of clip it on just like that. And now, let's start screwing it back up. Alright guys, so we have officially screwed up back everything together. So let's see if it's still powering on, just to ensure that the button is working. Let's see, volume is working, right? Yeah, so it's working guys. Now all we need to do is just put on the back of the phone now. So let's do that. So let's clip it on. Right. So clip it on just like that. Right. And let's see if it's working. Right. So it's working. Let's ensure that we clip it on properly. Alright guys, so we have officially fixed the Samsung Galaxy A04e. We replaced the full screen assembly. So this is the old screen assembly and this is the new screen assembly. So the phone is now officially fixed. We can now use it. So guys, we can just peel off the sticker off the screen now. And now the phone is ready. Just like that. The last thing to do is just put the SIM card tray back in. And now everything is officially fixed. Alright, thank you guys for watching again. Stay tuned. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next video.